Hello, I'm the video professor, and you are about to learn software by means of a creative new concept in the computer industry. I'll take you step by step through learning your new software package. On the screen now are some other tapes available in my series. With them, you can watch and learn at your own speed. Stop and practice anytime you want, and review topics you don't understand. I suggest that you view each tape in its entirety. Then go back through the lesson with your computer and your software and practice each step. All of my tapes are designed to get you up and running quickly. Once you have viewed and practiced everything that is on these tapes, I think you'll find your software manual much easier to understand. And now, let's get started. And welcome to my lesson on Windows 3.0, the 386 enhanced version. Windows is a graphical environment, basically a new and easier way to use your computer while still running in the DOS operating system. There are many benefits to using Windows, as you will find out in this tape. But you do need to learn some new skills to take advantage of this new tool. Depending on your computer, Windows can run in 3 different modes. Standard, the normal mode for computers with an Intel 8286 chip. Real, the mode for computers with less memory or for 286 machines to run non-Windows applications. And the enhanced 386 mode. Standard mode requires at least 1 megabyte of memory and an Intel 8286 or higher CPU. At least 6 megabytes of storage on the hard disk. A CGA, EGA, or VGA graphics card and monitor, and runs under DOS 3.1 or higher. Real mode is the most limited version of Windows, but requires the least power to run. Only 640 kilobytes of memory is needed, and an 8086 or 8088 CPU. To follow along in this lesson, your computer should meet the requirements for the 386 enhanced mode. You need at least 2 megabytes of memory, and an Intel 8386 or higher CPU. At least 6 megabytes of storage are needed on the hard disk, and the same color graphics card and monitor requirements as standard mode. A mouse is highly recommended in order to take full advantage of Windows' powerful graphical environment. No, not that kind of mouse. I'm referring to the one that has little buttons on it and a tail that attaches to the computer. We will be using the mouse for this lesson, but if you do not have a mouse or prefer not to use one regularly, we will also explain the keyboard commands that will move you around in this program. Also for this lesson, I will assume that you are familiar with DOS commands and functions. If you are not, you may want to view my tapes on learning DOS. Before we get started, I'd like you to meet my assistant, Pam. Ready to get started, Pam?
Hello, Professor. Yes, I'm ready.
Good. We'll first need to make sure you have Windows properly installed on your system. This is a very simple process, but of course, if Windows is already installed on your computer, you can skip this step. Pam, place disk 1 of your Windows disk set into your A floppy drive. Make sure you have an A prompt on your screen, and type Setup at the A prompt and press Enter. Your setup screen appears, and Windows will guide you through installing itself. During the installation process, you will periodically be asked to verify information or to make some choices. Since you are probably more comfortable with your cursor keys, you can use the arrow keys to highlight and select options. Press Enter to make the choice. When installation is finished, your computer automatically starts the Windows program. Windows shows up on your screen as the Program Manager, a kind of home screen or shell. I should mention here that everyone's screen may look a little different from the one Pam is using. Don't worry about it. Each of you will have different programs loaded into your computer, and you may also have already done some work in Windows that change the startup view. Notice the little pictures with words under them. They are called icons and are pictures that represent what they contain. These are folders with little files on them that represent applications or programs. Windows uses icons extensively to make it easy for you to tell what they do. Notice now these icons that are labeled non-Windows applications and Windows applications. You can change these names to say what you want, so again, yours may say something different. Both of these icons are simply programs that are or are not set up to run in the Windows environment. When you installed Windows, the setup routine looked at the programs you chose to run with Windows and decided if they were compatible. If they were placed in the Windows application group, and the ones that were not were placed in the non-Windows application group. Fortunately, with the enhanced 386 version of Windows, there's very little difference. We'll demonstrate later. One of the advantages of using Windows is that unlike DOS, where you can have only one application running at a time and then must stop to start another, Windows allows you to have several programs running at once, and it's a simple task to switch from one to another and to transfer files between them. As you will see, we can do this with both Windows applications and with non-Windows applications. But now, Pam, you need to close Windows so we can see how to start it up the next time. Type Alt-F to open the File menu, and press X for exit. Press Enter to choose OK in this dialog box, and there! Pam, you've already finished your first Windows session. When you start a new session after Windows has already been installed, you will need to type a DOS command to start the program. Here, everyone can follow along as we start Windows. If your system has not been set to start up automatically in Windows, an auto-exec batch file, you must select the Windows directory by typing CD, a space, and Windows, and press Enter. Pam, type WIN at the DOS prompt. Press Enter. The first window that shows up after the window display screen is the Program Manager, a kind of home screen or shell. Once again, if someone else was using Windows on the system you are now using, and they saved their changes when they exited, your startup screen might look different than the one here. Don't worry, though. In just a few minutes, you'll know how to clear away unwanted windows on your desktop and how to customize your working space on the computer. Pam, press the F1 key and look at the Help menu options. The Help screen will be useful many times when you are learning to use Windows because there are lots of features. The F1 key is very handy, but you can also get help by selecting the Help menu item. We are looking at the Help screen for the Program Manager. Press Alt-H and notice it gives us a menu for selecting Help on how to use Help. Press Enter to bring up this window. Pressing the page down and up key scrolls up through the Help window. When you have found what you need to know in Help, press Alt and F4 to exit.
Professor, what exactly is a window?
Good question, Pam. We need to be clear about our terms here. The entire display on your monitor or screen is called the desktop. The box outlined inside the desktop is the window. Very simply, a window is a section of screen or a desktop where you can work with your applications and documents. You may have many windows overlapping each other on the desktop, and they may be moved and placed anywhere on the screen. All windows behave in basically the same way. You manipulate them using the mouse or the keyboard. A mouse is an input device with two buttons. We'll call the left button number 1 and the right button number 2. Pam, as you move the mouse around on your tabletop, notice the arrow pointer moving in the same pattern on the screen. This is the way you move and manage the windows on the desktop. You move the mouse pointer around and use the mouse buttons to execute actions. The three basic actions with a mouse are click, double-click, and click and drag. In all these cases, button 1 is the action button. The click action is usually used to select a window, an item from a list, or another object on the desktop. The double click is also exactly as it sounds. It is 2 rapid presses and releases of the button. The double click is used to not only select an item, but also to execute whatever action is appropriate for that window. We'll see more about this in a moment. The third action is click and drag. This is used to move items around the desktop. The action is to press and hold the button while you move the mouse pointer to the desired location and then release the button. This is also called dropping the object you are dragging. Pam, a good way to get acquainted with Windows and the mouse and keyboard cursor controls is to use one of Windows' games to practice navigating around. Let's open a game of solitaire. Pam, move the mouse pointer on top of the game icon and double-click. Notice the game's window appears within the Program Manager window. To get this same window with the keyboard, hold down the Alt key and press the W key. This brings up the window menu. Now press 4, the number beside Games, and the window appears. To open the solitaire game, double-click on the solitaire icon, or since the word solitaire is already highlighted, just press Enter. There, a game of solitaire is all laid out for you.
Professor, this looks like fun, but I can't see all of my cards.
We'll fix that, Pam, but I want to mention again that our viewers may get a different size window than we see here. Don't worry. The first thing we'll learn about manipulating windows is how to change their size. Windows have several standard parts. We'll go through each one of them. To begin with, Pam, move the mouse pointer slowly to the right edge of the window and see how it changes into a double-pointed arrow. Windows have a standard sizing border, and this arrow indicates the point where the window border can be picked up and sized. Hold down the mouse button and move the mouse slightly to the left. Release the button and notice how the window changed size. Now move down to the lower corner until the double arrow becomes angled. This is an indicator to tell you that you can size the window both horizontally and vertically if you pick it up there. Pam, hold the button at the corner and move the mouse up and to the left. Do you see the ghost window border showing what your new size will be? Release the button and notice how the window changed size. With keyboard commands, Pam, you'll need to open the control menu using the Alt and Spacebar keys. Then choose Size by typing S. And then use the arrow keys to stretch open the window. If you push both the down and right arrow keys at the same time, you'll get the same effect as pulling on a corner with the mouse. The window changes both vertically and horizontally at the same time. Press the Enter key when you have the size you want. In addition to the sizing border, you can also manipulate other parts of a window. In the upper left corner of the window is the control menu icon. Pam, click on this symbol, a bar, and a pull-down menu appears containing options to change the window's appearance. Hold down the mouse button and notice as you move it down, it highlights the menu options. Here we can move, size, minimize, maximize, close, and switch windows. Restore is in a lighter shade because it is an option that can't be selected yet. Now, if the boss should come by while you're right in the middle of winning a game of solitaire, you can minimize the game until the danger is past. Release the mouse button to select Minimize. When a window is minimized, it is transformed into an icon, a small picture usually placed on the lower left of the desktop along with the title, as given on the title bar. This is how you get a window out of your way for a while without closing it. To minimize the window using the keyboard, press Alt and the spacebar to get to the control pull-down menu. Notice the underscore characters under each menu option. They show the accelerated keyboard commands for choosing these options. Also, to the right of some choices are other keyboard commands for selecting that option. Whenever you see these underscore characters, pressing the letter on top of it will execute that command. Pam, press N to minimize our solitaire game with the keyboard. Now, with the mouse, click and hold on the solitaire icon and move it and then release the button. You can click and drag a minimized icon to any location on the desktop. When you're ready to work with a minimized window again, you double-click on the icon. But don't do that yet, Pam.
Professor, what about these symbols in the other corner? Do they have menus as well?
The arrows in the upper right corner do not give you menus. They perform actions immediately when you click on them. They are the minimize and maximize icons. Pam, select the up arrow on the Program Manager window. The maximize icon will cause the window to be sized as large as possible, often occupying the entire desktop. When you maximize a window, the maximize icon is replaced by the restore icon, which is the up and down arrow. Go ahead and click on this icon to restore the window to its original size. We want to look at some additional information available when we have more than one window open on our desktop. The power and convenience of Windows comes from the messy desk concept that allows you to use your computer much like you can use your office desk. You can have several windows open at once, just like having several pieces of paper laying on your desk at one time. And you can shuffle among the windows much like you rearrange your pieces of paper as you are working on different tasks. There's one additional advantage that we have already seen in Windows. You can reduce the size of a window using minimize so it doesn't clutter up your desk while you are not using it. And yet it's still there and easily restored to working size when you're ready to use it again. Pam, just for the sake of seeing how this works right now, double-click on the solitaire icon in the Games window to open another game. Grab the lower left corner of your solitaire game and size it down to fill only about a third of the screen, so we can see it and the game and the Program Manager windows as well. Along the top of each window is its title bar. This part of the window serves several purposes. The first and most visible is to tell us the name of each window. Secondly, it is an indicator of which window is the active window on the desktop. To make a new window active, simply put your pointer on the title and click. Go ahead and select the Program Manager. Notice the title bar changed color, and the Program Manager window is now on top of the Solitaire window. The active window is the one we are currently working with, and its title bar is displayed in black or a special color, depending on how your colors are set up. The other function of the title bar is to move the whole window. Pam, click and hold on the title bar and drag the Program Manager window around on your screen, and then let go of the mouse button to drop it in a new location. When you click on the title bar, you see the ghost of the window just as when you are sizing. But instead of sizing, dragging the title bar moves the whole window anywhere on the desktop that you wish. Pam, put the Program Manager window back in the top left corner of the screen. Now grab the title bar of the Solitaire window so you can see both windows clearly. If your title bar is covered by another window, you can click anywhere in the Solitaire window to make it active. If the window you want is covered completely, you can resize the top window until you can see part of the window below and then activate it. Good. Just below the title bar is the menu bar. It consists of various keywords specific to each window or program. In this case, you can see the keywords File, Options, Window, and Help on the Program Manager window, and Game and Help on the Solitaire window. They are the actions available in each of the windows. Different menu options will show up in different application windows. Pam, move your pointer to File on the Program Manager menu bar and click to bring down the menu associated with that keyword. Did you notice that this action also made the Program Manager the active window again? The File menu operates in the same way as the Control menu did. You may click on an option or you have a keyboard command. Again, the underscore letter tells you which key to press to choose that option. Use the Alt key and the letter to get a pull-down menu and the letter alone to select an option. To clear this menu, either press the Escape key or click anywhere outside of the menu. Pam, pull down the Window menu and select Accessories. Keyboard users should understand how to select options now, so for the rest of this lesson, I'll be demonstrating mostly with the mouse.
Professor, what do these arrows in the side of the window do?
That is a scroll bar. Most windows have one on the right for up and down or vertical scrolling. Some also have a horizontal scroll bar at the bottom of the window for right and left scrolling. Scroll bars are needed because sometimes the screen can't show everything that is contained in that window. For example, we can only see part of this document in our window. The scroll bars are added to tell us there is more of the document we can't see. Selecting the up arrow allows you to scroll to the top of the document. The down arrow allows you to scroll to the bottom. The left arrow moves the viewing section to the left, and the right arrow displays the right portion of your document. Pam, move your mouse pointer on the bottom arrow. Click once, and the contents move a little bit. Click and hold the button, and the window will keep scrolling until you release it or until there is nothing left to scroll. The page up and page down keys are used to scroll the window if you don't have a mouse. You can see that the scroll bar gives an extended view of the window when the contents are larger than the window size. This does not affect the other controls we've been discussing. The box in the column between the arrows shows what part of the window you're looking at. A click in the column will move the box to that part of the window. Putting your pointer on the box and holding the button down also lets you move to the desired location.
Professor, couldn't I just maximize this window to see all the icons instead of scrolling?
Yes, you could, Pam. Go ahead and try that. Notice that Maximize only increases the accessories to the size of the Program Manager window. But the side scroll bars disappeared since there is no more to see up or down. In some cases, for example, a very large graphic window, you might not be able to see all of it even with a full screen view. So you would need to use the scroll bars to look at a section at a time. Now, Pam, there's one more thing I want to point out about Windows. Look at the screen view we have now and recall the steps we took to get to this view. From the Program Manager window, we opened Accessories and maximized it. Accessories is a document window, which means it runs inside the Program Manager. So it maximized only to the size of the Program Manager window. Look at the title bar, Program Manager, Accessories. Accessories does not have its own command menu. The one you see belongs to the Program Manager. Accessories does have its own control menu on the left side of the title bar and its own restore icons on the right side of the title bar. Look closely at the icons. There are now 3. One will restore the Accessories window and the other 2 apply to the Program Manager, which has accessories taking up the whole window. Pam, maximize the Program Manager and look what happens. The Accessories window grows to full screen size. Now use the Restore icon to reduce the Accessories window to its smaller size inside the Program Manager window. And see that the Program Manager still fills the whole screen. Pam, go ahead and restore the Program Manager window to its smaller size also. Now click on the Minimize icon so all we have on our screen is the Solitaire game. Notice all our open Program Manager programs are all in the cluster of icons. Now maximize the game so we can see all our cards. Now, Pam, click on the deck of cards in the upper left of the screen to get the first deal. To move a card, place the pointer on that card and click and hold the left mouse button to drag the card to the new pile. Viewers, you may want to pause the tape here and play a game of solitaire, or practice manipulating windows until you feel comfortable using the mouse. Restore the solitaire screen when finished. Pam, double-click on the Program Manager icon to open that window. To do this with the keyboard, press Alt and Escape to highlight the icon. Alt spacebar to bring up its control menu, and R to restore. Now let's see how to open up more windows and move around in them. Right now we are in the Program Manager. The Accessories and Games windows are open. Our Solitaire game is also open on the desktop. We want to open the main window, but that icon isn't visible. So pull down the window menu and click on Main.
Professor, I'm getting a little confused. All of my windows are on top of each other, and I can't see what's going on.
Well, Pam, we need to clean up this messy desk. It is looking a little crowded in our Program Manager. Let's look at some other ways to see several open documents at once without losing track of our work. If you've been using the keyboard commands, you may have noticed some additional choices at the top of the Windows menu. Let's use the keyboard command Alt-W to open the Windows menu and show the pull-down choices on the screen. Pam, click on Cascade, or if it's highlighted, just press the Enter key. We can see that Cascade stacks our open windows on top of each other, with only the title bar showing. This gives us the largest space for the currently active window and still lets us see the other windows open behind the active one. Click on the Accessories title bar. See how clicking on the title bar of one of the windows behind the active one moves it to the front of the stack so you can work with it. Now, Pam, select Tile from the Windows menu. Now you can see all the open windows side by side, but of course you can see much less of each one. Frequently, the program icons within a window will not show after you've changed a view. Arrange icons will automatically rearrange them within the view you've chosen. If there are too many icons to fit within the window size you have, use the scroll bars to see the other parts of that window. Pam, maximize the accessories window so we can use it easily. Write and Paintbrush are applications that come with Windows. Write is a word processor and Paintbrush is a graphics drawing program. Pam, select Write with either the mouse or, since it's highlighted, you could just press Enter with the keyboard. There, Write opened up in a window bigger than the Program Manager, although still not a full-screen view. You can see that it also has its own menu bar with some different choices. We'll come back to Write in a few minutes, but for now, Pam, minimize this window. We're going to take a quick tour of the other accessories that come with Windows. I'm sure you'll find them useful once we've reviewed how they work. Terminal is a data communications facility which will allow your computer to connect to others over a telephone line. You need a modem to use this program. Viewers may just want to watch as we're going to take a very quick tour of these other accessories. Notepad is a simple scratchpad word processor where you can keep quick notes. It doesn't have all the extra features of Write or other full-function word processors, but it is handy for short items and notes to yourself. A nice feature is the automatic time date stamp found under the Edit menu. Pam, select Arrange Icons so we can see all of our accessory icons. The Recorder allows you to save keystroke sequences in a macro, like creating a simple program without needing to know programming language. Card File works like a computerized Rolodex. Index, under Edit, rearranges your cards according to your choices. Autodial, working with the terminal, will automatically dial a phone number listed on a card, and Search will look for a particular card. Calendar serves as an appointment book and also can set alarm reminders. You can choose to view a single day or the whole month. The calculator offers both a standard and scientific option. Simply select the numbers you need with the mouse pointer to make calculations. Clock simply shows you the time in either a digital or analog view. If you need to change the time setting on your system, that is done from the Control Panel, which we'll be visiting after we finish looking at the accessories. Finally, the PIF editor allows you to define specific information needed to access non-Windows applications from Windows. Good stuff, huh, Pam? That's a lot of tools, and we haven't seen it all yet. Let's look next at the main window. First, let's close the accessories window, but Pam, take care to select the control menu for the accessories window, not the Program Manager, and then choose Close. Keyboard users, remember that accessories is a document window. It does not have its own menu, so Alt- gives you the control menu. Alt spacebar would give you the Program Manager control menu. Now we're back at the Program Manager window with the games and main windows showing inside it. This time, Pam, select the main window and maximize it so we can see all our options at once. Choose Arrange Icons to make sure we see all of them. You may wonder, since it's called Main, why we don't automatically start up with this window instead of the Program Manager. Main is a kind of utilities window that manages the functions of Program Manager, such as the colors on your screen. But the Program Manager handles all the programs we can run with Windows. Most of the time we'll be using Program Manager. Once in a while, however, we might need to make some adjustments to how Windows is running. Let's see how the main window helps do that. Once again, since we're taking a quick tour, you may want to watch rather than open each of these items. Windows Setup shows us the system settings on our PC and allows us to make changes as needed, perhaps to add new Windows applications as they become available. The Control Panel gives us lots of choices for customizing the appearance of our desktop and the way our individual PC uses Windows. Look at the desktop controls. You can choose a different pattern for the desktop. You can wallpaper different backgrounds and change cursor speed. Some experimentation with these controls will let you run the desktop just like you want. We like the default, so choose OK, Pam. If you have a color monitor, you can choose the background and highlight colors on the Colors icon. Let's look a little closer at this option. Choose Color Palette and notice that we can make any part of our screen a different color simply by clicking on the area we want to change and then picking a color. Here's a special feature to be aware of. Notice the little arrows with lines under them in some of the choices. Clicking on these will give you special options in many menus. Here they give default colors. Here they give you selections. Whenever you see the little arrow with a line under it, it means that there is more information available. If your PC doesn't automatically maintain date and time when it's turned off, use the date-time icon to reset the correct information. Mouse and keyboard controls are found here, as well as printer selection menus. And you can tell your computer whether or not to beep using the sound icon. I'm sure you will want to experiment with all the choices available on the control panel. But for now, let's move along to look at the other main window items. The File Manager gives you a view of the drive you're in, and a single click on the drive gives you a list of the directories available on that drive. I will assume that most of you are working on the C drive, as we are. But your directory tree on the C drive will look very different from what you see here on the screen, since you will have different software programs and directories on your system. Looking at the directory tree on our screen, we see that some of the directories have a plus on the file folder symbol. That means that the directory has subdirectories within it. A single click on this plus will display a list of its subdirectories. Double-clicking on these subdirectories will display a list of their files. Close this window and click on C to get back to our tree structure. Now double-click on the WP51 directory and we see all of its files. Select a file simply by clicking on it. Now from your menu, show the pull-down menu for File. You see that Windows will let you open a Windows-compatible file using the File Manager, or print it, or copy it, or delete it. If you have a document you work on often, Associate lets you double-click on that file, then automatically starts the application and opens directly to that file. Now you don't have to memorize the specific DOS commands because you can use the Windows menu to manage your files. Press Escape to close the File pull-down menu, and press hyphen to open the control menu for the directory tree. Choose Close. Before we close File Manager, let's briefly review the other menu choices. Under Disk, you see some DOS disk commands. Format, Copy, Label. Under Tree, you can manage the view of your directory tree. Expand Branch shows the subdirectories that were indicated by a plus. This is the same thing that happened when you clicked and double-clicked on a file folder just a moment ago. View gives you choices for how the files and directories will be grouped. Now go back to the File menu and choose Exit to close the File Manager. The dialog box will let you save the setting changes you have made. Choose OK, Pam. The Print Manager shows you the active printer and allows you to queue and review the queue for print jobs. Windows allows you to control many printer functions directly from the comfort of your keyboard. The clipboard is possibly one of the most useful features of Windows because it allows you to transfer information among files. We'll look more closely at this in a moment. The only remaining tool is the DOS prompt. If there are any system tasks that you can't handle from these menus, you can go directly to DOS using the icon. Warning, if you do that, you will leave Windows without saving your settings. So don't do that now. Close the main window. Now we're back to the Program Manager. Pam, let's open WordPerfect and draft the memo so we can see how easy it is to move between applications and to transfer information from one file to another. Click on the Non-Windows Applications icon and then click on WordPerfect. If you don't have WordPerfect on your computer, you can open any other word processing application and follow along, or just watch for now. A non-Windows application wants to run full screen. That is, it will take over the entire desktop and will look exactly like it does when you start it directly from DOS. However, we can put the application into a window and still take advantage of some of the Windows features. Pam, type Alt spacebar, and you get a control menu just like the earlier Windows. Only this one has some additional options. Choose Settings and Window from the Display Options box to to move WordPerfect into a window. Now you can size the window or drag it around on the desktop just like any other window. One difference, however, is that you cannot use the mouse inside a non-Windows application when it is running inside a window. The mouse will only work outside that window. If you have a non-Windows application that uses mouse functions, you must run it full screen to take advantage of that feature. Pam pressed the Alt and Enter key combination, and you can see that it is very easy to switch back and forth from full screen to a window. One warning: clicking the mouse inside a windowed non-Windows application will cause it to say Select WordPerfect. The Escape key will change back. Let's say that your boss just gave you this note and asked you to create a memo to invite the staff to the company picnic. Everyone pause or rewind the tape to enter this note into your word processor. The annual company picnic will be held Saturday, August 20th, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Picnic Pavilion in City Park. Our first step for purposes of this lesson is to move the note from WordPerfect into Write, and it's really easy with the Windows clipboard. We must first bring up our control menu and choose Edit. Now we can mark the text in the WordPerfect file. Choose Mark from the menu and then use the mouse to highlight the text by clicking and dragging the pointer across the words. Release the mouse button when the text is marked. Now choose Copy from the Edit menu. We'll just put a copy of this into our new memo rather than using Cut and Paste, which would remove the words from the first document. That's it. Pam, we could close the WordPerfect file in the usual manner, but we'll leave it open just to get a feel for Windows' multitasking feature. We just opened one application here, but in fact you could have several running. The number of programs you can run depends only on the available memory in your system. Go ahead and minimize the WordPerfect window. Now let's take a quick look at the clipboard to see our WordPerfect sentence. Pam, select Window from the Main menu and then select Main. From the Main window, select the clipboard icon. And there's the note ready to be pasted into another Windows application. I want to show you another feature of Windows that makes it easy to move among tasks. Open the control menu and select Switch. The task list that appears on the screen shows us all our open tasks: Program Manager, WordPerfect, our solitaire game, and Write. With a task list, we can keep several jobs going at once and quickly move between them as needed. You might, for instance, keep your calendar, the notepad, and your card file open and ready for phone calls. Even if all these routines are minimized to keep the clutter down, they are available almost instantly using the task list. Pam, choose Write from the task list, double-click or highlight and enter, so we can take a closer look at this word processor. The Write window presents a blank page, much like any word processor. Notice the page number in the lower left corner. It will not change until you repaginate, a command on the Document menu. For this Windows lesson, I'll assume you're familiar with basic word processing functions. So all we'll do here is look quickly at how Write manages the typical word processing commands. And remember that you can always pull down the Help menu for specific assistance. You can see two symbols on the page: a flashing cursor that marks your insertion point, and an end mark that indicates the end of text. Since we haven't typed anything yet, the end mark is at the top of the document. Follow along with Pam and type in the following short memo so we'll have something to work with. Pause or rewind the tape to enter this text: Date, tab, August 1, 1990. Press Enter. On the next line, tab, all staff. Press Enter. On the next line, from, tab, the boss. Press Enter. On the next line, subject, company, picnic. Press Enter twice. Good, there's a standard memorandum opening. Now let's paste in the text from WordPerfect. Your cursor is in place, so simply pull down the Edit menu and select Paste. And there it is. It can't get any easier than that. Now notice that your cursor is positioned at the end of the pasted text, so let's just add a couple more lines. Press Enter and then add See Map Below, period. Press Enter and then add Be There or Be Square, period. The editing functions in Write work much the same way in other Windows applications, so you will want to be familiar with these. Moving the cursor or insertion point with the mouse in Write is the same as we've already learned. Just point and click at the new location. Keyboard commands for moving the cursor are the same, but there are also key combinations that move more rapidly through your document. Pam, your cursor is at the end of the memo right now. Press Control together with the left arrow to move backward at a time. The Home key moves you to the beginning of the line, and End key moves you to the end of the line. Press Control and Home to move back to the beginning of the document. Home and End goes to the end of the document. From the top of this document, let's look at the formatting controls. We want to set a tab to align the information in the top lines of our memo. Open the document menu, Alt-D, and select Ruler On. With the mouse, select the tab marker, as you see Pam doing, and click at the 1-inch position on the ruler. From the keyboard, choose Tabs from the document menu and key in 1 inch in the first position box. Look at the information the ruler gives us. We see the left and right margin markers, the arrows facing inward. We see our tab marker at the 1-inch position. Line spacing is managed with the central set of boxes. The single spacing symbol is currently active, and alignment is handled with the set of boxes on the right. Our memo is currently set for Left Justify. Now let's use the editing functions to make some changes in the memo. We want to change the starting time from 11 a.m. to noon, so with your mouse, click and drag across the words 11 a.m. to highlight them, and type in the word noon. You see that the new word replaces the highlighted text. To do the same thing with keyboard commands, first locate the cursor insertion point to the left of the first one. Then hold the Shift key while you press the arrow keys to select the rest of the text. Then type in the new text to replace the selected words. Now move the insertion point to the end of the memo and add these words. Lunch will be served at 1:30 p.m.
Professor, I think this line would go better before the one that says See Map. Is there any way I can move it up?
It's very easy, Pam. Point and drag your mouse across the line to highlight it. Select Cut from the Edit menu. Now move your insertion point to the place you want the line to go, and select Paste from the Edit menu. There! Does that look like what you had in mind? If you don't like an edit you just did, you can undo it. Look at the Edit menu and select Undo. There, it's gone again. But Pam, I really think that was a good place to put the line. So I think you should undo again to redo the paste you did originally. Now let's add some flair to our memo by putting the first paragraph in boldface to emphasize it. Highlight that paragraph with either the mouse or keyboard commands. Select Character from the menu and select Bold. There! So far we've been working in an untitled window. Let's save our work and give it a name. Select the Save option from the File menu. The dialog box asks us for a name and also gives us several options about how the document should be saved. Let's call the memo Picnic. And we'll save it in Write's form by clicking on OK, so it automatically gets the extension .wri. If we were planning to copy this document into another application, we might want to use the Text Only or MS Word Save options. Now this memo will be more helpful if we add a map to it. Pam, to start Paintbrush, open the Control menu and choose Switch. If Paintbrush was already open, we could easily switch using the task list. But since it isn't, we need to go to the Program Manager window. Select Program Manager, Pam, and then choose the Accessories window and select Paintbrush. By the way, did you notice that we didn't need to close Write before we switched to Paintbrush? On the Paintbrush window are some symbols you may be unfamiliar with. The symbols at the left side of the screen are the toolbox. We'll look more closely at those when we begin to draw our map. The shaded or colored boxes across the bottom are the palette of colors and patterns available. In the lower left corner is the line size box where you choose the thickness of your drawing line. The center of the window is the drawing area. The cursor is marked by an arrow now, but it will change shapes according to which drawing tool you have selected. I'll be demonstrating paintbrush with the mouse only. Keyboard users need to see help to find out how to use the keystrokes for the same results.
Professor, I'm not much of an artist. Are you sure this map is something I should try?
Don't worry, Pam. These computer tools will help you out a lot. There are some simple and basic steps to creating a drawing. The first is to select a background and foreground color. The palette is where you select your colors and where you may also change them at any time. Paintbrush begins with white as the background color and black as the foreground. And for our picnic map, those will do quite well. The next step is to select the size of the line we want to draw. Pam, let's use the third down line size for our map, so click on that line on the line size box. Now we need to choose a drawing tool. The brush is automatically selected when you start up Paintbrush, but I think we'll start our map with a simple box and some lines. Pam, select the box tool by clicking on it, and then move your pointer into the drawing area, about 2 inches from the top and left side. You'll need to click once and hold down the button to anchor the corner of the box, and then drag the mouse diagonally until the box is the size needed, about 3 inches, and release the button to finish the drawing. Good. We'll let this box be City Park. Now we should add some streets in the park so people can find their way. Pam, select the line tool next, and move your pointer to a place just outside one edge of the box. Just like the box, you click and hold to anchor one corner, and then drag to another end of the line and release the button. Excellent, Pam. Let's try something a little different now. Select the Curve tool, and once again, move your pointer into the map. This time, anchor one end on the straight line we just drew, and the other end on the bottom line. When you have set the line and release the mouse button, move your pointer away from the line a little bit and press and hold the button again. Drag the mouse and see how the line curves in the direction you're moving. Repeat the same movements to make this street darker. Now, doesn't that look like a nice drive through the park? Pam, every park needs a fishing pond, so let's make one. We need to select the Filled Circle tool, that's the shaded one to the right of the plain circle. And we also need to select different colors. These two boxes represent the foreground and background colors. You can change the foreground color with the left mouse button and the background with the right. Pam, choose blue for foreground and black for the background. When our map prints in black and white, it will look like a shade of gray. Now move your pointer into the map and press the button to anchor the corner of the pond. Then drag the mouse until you have a good pond shape and release the button. Looking good, Pam. Let's change our colors back and make a picnic table to show where the picnic's at. Choose the brush tool. Here's where you really get to be an artist. The brush is used to draw freehand shapes. So, Pam, just draw a simple little picnic table. Just like the other tools, you click and drag the mouse to draw a line, and then release it when you finish the line. It's like picking up your pencil from the paper between the lines. Pam, that's a great picnic table.
Professor, what if I don't like my drawing? Can I change it?
There are several ways to edit, but the one you might find most useful is the eraser. The eraser changes the foreground color that it touches into the background color, so it seems to disappear. But if you've selected a different background color, your eraser will look more like another paintbrush. Pam, select the eraser and move your pointer into the drawing area. Now click and drag and see how it works.
Oh no, Professor. I think I ruined my picture.
Thank goodness for undo, Pam. We can just select that option from the edit menu and unerase your last action. You want to be sure to go straight to the undo menu when you've done something you don't like, since it only works on the last thing you did. Let me show you another way to erase. Choose the Fill Box tool and select white as the foreground color. Make a box around the picnic table, and it's gone. Now choose the Line tool and a thin line. Make the foreground black again, and try drawing another picnic table. Keep practicing and you'll get the hang of it. Now there's just one more thing to do to finish our map. We need to put some labels on it so people can find the streets. That's a little better. Pam, select the text tool. And now we have several choices to make. Look first at the font menu, where we see a list of the fonts available on your computer. This list will be different depending on your computer and your printer. We'll use the Helvetica font. Now look at the size menu. Here's where we choose how large our text will be. Only the black sizes are available for the font we choose and the printer we are using. I think that a 16-point size will be right for our map. Next, we look at the Style menu. This is pretty familiar from our word processing experience. Pam, let's use the bold style for our map. Now we're ready to put some text into our map. Position the cursor along the street that crosses the park and click to anchor it at that location. Pam, let's call this street Cross Street. Now move the cursor to a place on the curved line, reset the cursor for every letter so it follows the curve, and type Park Street. Well, Pam, you're more of an artist than you thought. These paintbrush tools are handy, and they're fun also. Next, let's label our map City Park so people will know which park to come to. I'm sure you'll want to come back to this program and practice some more, and also try using some of the tools we didn't get to use in this lesson. But for now, I think we should save our work, and then see how we can transfer this map into our memo. Pam, choose Save As from the File menu, and let's call this picture Map. Since we want to transfer our map into our memo, we have one more step to do here. There are two cutout tools, both identified by scissors symbols. The left one with the star shape is the freeform tool, and the right one called Pick with the box shape will define a square or rectangular shape. Pam, select the Pick tool since our map is rectangular, and move your pointer into the drawing once again. Position the pointer on the outside at the top left corner so that you can select the whole map without cutting off any pieces. Now that the cutout is defined, go to the Edit menu and select Copy. This places a copy of the map in the clipboard and also leaves the original intact in our paintbrush file just in case we want to come back to it later. Now, Pam, we can close the paintbrush program using the Control menu. Since we already saved our map, we don't need to do it again now. But it never hurts. Let's just go take a look at the clipboard to be sure our picture is really there and ready to be pasted into the memo. Double-click on the clipboard icon. Well, good, there's our map. Now let's use the task list to switch back to our memo. And then we want right, so highlight it and press Enter. Now position your cursor below the last paragraph and click to mark the position. Pull down the Edit menu and select Paste. And there it is. It looks great. So, Pam, I think you should save your work again. You can use Save this time instead of Save As. You can see how easily the clipboard transfers information between our two Windows applications, Write and Paintbrush. You can use the same steps, cut, copy, and paste, to transfer selected information between any Windows applications. Now, Pam, choose Print from the File menu to print a copy of our fine memo. The Print dialog box shows which printer is currently installed for our computer and gives us some options. You must have connected and installed a printer for Windows before you can do this step. And your dialog box will probably show a different printer choice than we have here. Copies says how many copies we want to print, and we can also choose all the pages or only a few from a longer document. Our memo is only one page long, so all is fine. The draft quality box will print an unformatted version of our memo with only an empty box where we put our map. Don't click that choice because we do want to see our artwork. And there it is. It looks great. When printing is finished, we can close the Write program and the clipboard. To properly exit, we should close all our open programs before closing the Program Manager. Oops, what's this? We forgot to shut down WordPerfect. Pam, click on the WordPerfect icon and exit WP. And now we can close our Windows session and get back to the DOS prompt to turn off the computer. Well, Pam, that's our Windows lesson for today. I'll bet you want to get back to your solitaire game, or maybe go try some more of those paintbrush tools. Or maybe you have some real work to do. Whatever, I'm sure you'll enjoy working with Windows. So go ahead and practice your new skills.
Thanks, Professor. This was really fun.
Thank you, Pam, for being such an excellent student. On the screen now are some other tapes available in my series. If you need help with any of these programs or simply want to pick up on a few tricks you may not know, my videos are designed to teach you quickly and easily.